If you'd prefer subtitles over a voiceover, you can click a link in the description that will take you to a subtitled version of this tutorial. Hey everyone, this is the tutorial for a basic introduction on how to use OMSPs, and Muna will be my assistant in this. OMSPs are helpful for both keeping sims in one place and for putting objects exactly where you want them. They come in a range of heights for perfectionists like myself, and the OMSPs I use are created by Silent Lucidity. I'll leave a link in the description. In order to move OMSPs up and down, you have to use the bracket keys on your keyboard, and they are next to the P. They are on the right side of the P, and there's two of them. OMSPs can also be testy sometimes, so if you press escape or you accidentally press the down motion, the OMSP will reset to the original position. So basically it resets to the first OMSP height, which is really, it sounds kind of weird, but you start to get used to it after you use them after a while, and it becomes kind of a habit not to press escape. You can place both sims and objects on these things as long as they're only one square, like, in size. So if something's two squares, then it won't work with an OMSP as far as I'm concerned. Like, I don't know any existing OMSPs that work with more than one square. In order to use these, much like other things, you'll need to activate the Move Objects cheat. As seen when using the first OMSP in this video, Muna's arms go through the bed, and so I had to choose a different OMSP. I had to experiment in order to find the right height for the bed. Different custom content objects have different heights, and so you'll have to experiment a bit to find the perfect OMSP for each custom content object. This one was a little weird because it had a blanket over it, and so whereas the bed was one level, the blanket was another, and so her arms had to fit over it correctly in order not to clip through the object. OMSPs can reach very high, so don't worry about that. There's also tan OMSPs that I don't really use because I never see any use for them, but they're called above ground OMSPs, meaning they go past the second level, and so if you're using, like, if you're creating any superhero or flying series or something like that, you can use the tan ones in order to reach higher heights. The purple ones only go from the bottom of floor 1 to the top of floor 1. Here you can see me experimenting with heights to place different sorts of objects. Sometimes different objects require different OMSPs because some objects go under the usual place and some go over the usual place, like some objects will float or some objects will go under. It really depends on the object and the custom content that was made, and so OMSPs can be kind of tricky in this way when you're trying to find the right one to fit in the right place. A lot of the decorations in this house are set on OMSPs, so I can place them in, like, certain positions because I don't exactly like most of the time when objects snap into place, which is why I definitely use OMSPs a lot more often than some people. I like the cluttered feeling, and so it's very hard to make the cluttered feeling without OMSPs because if things are just snapping to objects, it doesn't flow well. When you see a bunch of scattered objects everywhere on my sets, it's usually with the help of OMSPs that they're scattered everywhere, like this huge desk. As above-ground OMSPs exist, there's also below-ground OMSPs. These are really helpful. I use these a ton more than you would think. I use below-ground OMSPs when poses don't reach the floor, but I want the sim to be sitting on the floor. Therefore, I'll give them a below-ground OMSP, and I will adjust their height in order to fit them to the ground. For example, this pose box is supposed to be used for a couch, but as I can lower them with this below ground OMSP, it works. OMSPs can be used in a variety of ways and in certain unique situations. Like, here's one, for example, that I just thought of while randomly filming. One final important thing of OMSPs I'd like to show is the rotation OMSPs, because they are actually very useful, even though I don't really use them so often. There's not many poses for laying down that I can ever find, and so sometimes I take standing poses and I rotate the sim 90 degrees in order to make it look like they're laying down. This is just a random pose I selected, so it's not the best for lying down, but it works. 90-degree OMSPs make them rotate 90 degrees. There's 45, there's 67, there's 22, there's other rotations, and depending on the OMSP, it can be a forward OMSP, a backward OMSP, a left OMSP, a right OMSP, and there's a lot of directions that you can use, so you're gonna have to choose the correct one. You can also rotate objects on their side to make it look like they're leaning on other objects, which is what I did with the violin in this case. I laid it up against the bed using a 67-degree OMSP, and as seen before, I had to experiment in order to find, like, something that looked good. Therefore, if there's an object decoration in your game that isn't tilted and you want it to be tilted, this is basically the OMSP for you. Thank you guys for watching. I hope this helped you in some way and that it wasn't too confusing. If you have any other questions, please tell me in the description and I will try to answer them as best as I can.